What is up, Barrett?
What's up?
Well, what you're going to hear next is my phone interview with Rock River Arms, and it's funny. In the last few days, I've been called everything in the book, but all I'm trying to do is get to the bottom of it. Why is it that? Is it that if you don't follow lockstep with a few people's opinions in the gun community, that you're some kind of shill? I've been called an anti-gunner shill, all this stuff. So, what you want to do is you want to find out the truth, and the only way to find out the truth is to do your own sort of little investigative reporting. So I called Rock River Arms and Springfield Armory asking for an interview for my website, gunsandgearvids.com. And this lady named Sarah actually called me back, and I'm trying to get to, and as you will see, she has a completely different perspective, and whether you believe it or not is up to you. But the point is, there's always two sides to every story, and the way you get to the bottom the way you get to the truth is to go find the truth. You don't wait for the truth to come to you, because if you do that, those sources may not necessarily be that trustworthy, or they may not have all the information. Let's just put it that way. So the following is my phone interview. I didn't know, Barrett and I are still trying to run a business. So she called at a time I wasn't expecting it. So right after she called, I grabbed Barrett's phone and actually recorded it while I was on the phone with my phone. So anyway, without further ado, here it is.
But if you would like to send me an email with your questions, we will review them, and if we are able to answer them at this time, we certainly will. Is that something you'd be willing to do, and that would maybe be a little bit more convenient for you?
So you can't give any kind of little short blip at all? I mean, I'm just trying to understand the issue.
I'm trying to answer your questions and make you understand the issue, but we're just not willing to put anything out media-wise at this point.
Oh, I got you. And do you mind at least telling me your name again so I can write it down, so I can tell somebody who I talked to?
Sure, my name is Sarah.
Okay, and it's Rock River Arms.
Right.
And I apologize, I wasn't prepared when you called. I was trying to back my truck.
I understand.
My website, gunsandgearvids.com, is kind of a hobby for me, but I still care deeply about what goes on in the gun community. So, we were NRA recently, and I was talking to people, and there seems to be a lot of angst against Springfield Armory and Rock River Arms, and I'm just wondering why. So, because it seems to me like you were just trying to protect your business interest. So,
well, actually, how it is we fund an organization called the IFMA. It's the Illinois Firearms Manufacturers Association. We've been funding this program since 2009. In Illinois, our gun rights have always been. It's always been an issue. It's always been a threat to us as manufacturers, as gun dealers, as gun owners. And so we formed this organization as a group of manufacturers to try to help get our politicians on our side and to fight on our behalf. Illinois has always been pushing to get our gun manufacturers out of the state. And right here in just our little area near the Quad Cities, we have 5 major gun manufacturers. That would be a significant impact to the state of Illinois. So we created this organization to try to fight on our behalf to save our gun rights, especially because we are very busy as manufacturers, and we don't have the time to act as politicians as well. So we hired this lobbying group. We've been supporting them for many years to try to fight and act on our behalf. Unfortunately, with this recent situation, they thought that they were doing something on our behalf by protecting the manufacturers' rights, but they didn't think about the little people and how it would affect them.
But you see, that's what I keep hearing, is that Rock River Arms and Springfield Armory aren't thinking about the little guys, and that these people are saying, oh, they sold out, and now the little guy's going to be hurt. So.
And unfortunately, that is the perception. When we create this lobbying group, and what we pay them to do is to take care of things on our behalf, and we don't always know about the things that they are fighting for. And that is exactly what happened in this instance. They did something took action in what they thought was the best interest of the manufacturers, but they didn't think about the implications on the gun dealers and even individuals. And once we heard about what measures were taken to fight, quote unquote, on behalf of the manufacturers, it was immediately a shock to us, because they also didn't realize that the repercussions that this would have on the gun dealers. If Rock River Arms does not have gun dealers, if Rock River Arms does not have individuals supporting us within our state, buying products from our company, we don't have a company. So unfortunately, the gun lobbyists thought that they were working in the best interest of the manufacturers. After all, it is a manufacturers association. They didn't go through the different measures to think about, okay, if there's an exemption for manufacturers, what does that do to the little guy? What does that do for Rock River as a company? Because actually, in effect, this bill is actually worse for Rock River having an exemption. If there was, everybody was fair across the board and there wasn't no bill whatsoever, business could go on as usual. People could buy whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, from whomever they wanted. At this point, with the exemptions for the gun manufacturers and not the little guys, they're not going to be buying from us anyway. So that does not, in effect, help the gun manufacturers. This is not a bill we supported. We did not know directly about it until it went through the Senate.
What's being reported, I don't know if you've seen the article in the Truth About Guns blog. It's being reported that, you all made a deal with state legislators, and so now somehow it's going to be passed just because these two companies made a deal to exempt themselves from,
Well, we didn't make the deal. The lobbyists made the deal on our behalf without our knowledge. So, in effect, because we fund the organization, they are saying that we are the ones making the deal, where we're just basically guilty by association at this point, because we did fund the association. We did not know about the transactions taking place until after the fact.
Well, and my thing is that, two companies don't run the state of Illinois. They don't control the voters, they don't control the legislators. All they can do is try to protect their own interest. And, I'm catching a lot of grief for this because I'm supposed to be the guy who fights the man,
Sure, and I understand that. But unfortunately, it's hard to do that when the facts do say that we are paying this organization, but we did not pay this organization knowingly to create an exemption simply for the manufacturers. We need fairness across the board. We need those people underneath of us to support our company, and we would never go through with a bill like this with that knowledge. These lobbyists are working on what they think is the best interest of the manufacturers, and an exemption certainly sounds like a good idea. However, if we do not have the backing of our state, the gun dealers and individuals, we don't have a company to manufacture to begin with.
Well, and there's also the risk of alienating, consumers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so what I'm hearing is all this, let's boycott Springfield Armory and Rock River Arms, and I'm like, what? I was just trying to get the story so that both sides. Unfortunately, sometimes in the gun community online, you don't always get, you typically will have a few people controlling the narrative, and everybody else kind of falls into line, with that.
You're 100% correct with that, and that is what it seems like is going on right now, and people are just jumping on the bandwagon thinking that they're understanding the situation, and unfortunately, it's very skewed. Rock River Arms is continuing to oppose this bill. We are fighting it as hard as we can. I know there's a lot of people wanting us to completely drop the ISMA directly, but we're still evaluating what the best course of action is to keep this bill. And if that is in case with the Illinois Manufacturers Association continuing to fight, then we need to figure out the best way to approach that. We have to make sure we have people that are going to be there to get the bill, to stop it in its tracks, and to continue to fight it. And it may mean continuing on the way the course that we are going. We just have to figure out what's the best way to do that right now, and that's what we're trying to evaluate.
Sorry about the background noise. My son was just getting in the truck. Again, I'm a general contractor by trade, but I'm also a gun lover and a pro-Second Amendment lover, and my website is a hobby. But I still sort of feel like I'm a soldier for the truth or whatever.
Yes, and we certainly need people like you out there. So we were happy for you to do anything you can to support Rock River and Springfield. We are still fighting the fight. We are doing the best we can to not let this bill go through, not go forward. We are not trying to sell out anybody we are working in the best interest of everyone as best as our ability allows. Unfortunately, some actions were taken by the lobbyists on our behalf that is not actually executing the what our companies are wanting. So,
right, and it's easy to take. The easiest thing to do is to pick out a party and just, the boycott would be the easy. Some people think boycotting is activism. The activism is fighting the original legislation. That's my whole point. So anyway, I really appreciate your time, and I thank you. And can I give you my email address I have enough information. If you want to send me an email, you can, or I feel like I've kind of gotten the gist of what you're saying. So.
Well, and certainly if you need more information, just call back. I'm happy to answer questions for you.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
So as you can see, there is a completely different perspective on this, and from their perspective, they were not trying to sell out the little guy. As you clearly heard her say, that if they sell out the little guy and customers, then they will have no business. So it was not their intent to sell out anybody. And this whole thing honestly was started when I think the article in The Truth About Guns misspoke when it said that the legislation was going to limit gun purchases. Buying guns is not the customer transferring a gun. Only the FFL transfers the gun. If you buy a gun at Walmart, Walmart is the FFL, and they're transferring the gun to you. Okay. The confusion is that the exemption in the law says that if you sell, that you can sell up to 9 guns a year without having to have a license. And this is all in the state of Illinois. And why I care that much about it, I do kind of care, So, and that's why I'm doing this. But the confusion, people are reporting, and I love Dano on gun channels, but he even said on the Daily Gun Show last night that they were trying to limit gun purchases. It's not. This is a gun dealer licensing law. That number comes from an exemption that you can sell up to 9 guns a year without having to have a license. That has nothing to do with the amount of guns that you purchase, only the amount of guns that you are selling. So because it is a gun dealer licensing law, they're concerned about people selling guns. Now, I disagree with this. Again, I disagree with the entire law, but what I would be trying to fight is the law, not somehow, because you see, boycotting a company is not activism. Not doing something is not activism. Doing something is activism. Okay, so there you go. Maybe more to come, Barrett. I don't know. Barrett's like wore out on this whole thing. Anyway, the truth shall set you free. Set you free.